Okay, for those of you who have not heard, yesterday morning, Patreon suspended the channel over there. Now, the suspension at Patreon does not or should not affect the channels over on YouTube or BitChute. It just means my Patreon was locked at that time. I was sent a form letter stating that I was under suspension pending review. Not long after that, I was sent a letter by a member of their trust and safety team. I did copy and paste this letter over to the community section over on YouTube, but I will read it here for those of you who have not seen it. I got this at approximately 7:32 a.m. Pacific time is what the timestamp was on that email that I was sent. My name is Blair, and I am on the Trust and Safety team here at Patreon. I am writing to inform you that your page has been removed for violating our community guidelines concerning your association with criminal organizations. I'd also like to clarify that because you are funding your content through Patreon, our guidelines extend to content that might be elsewhere online. Although you might not share the same piece of content on the Patreon site directly, our guidelines apply equally to off-platform activities. So Patreon is, I'm just throwing this in here. Patreon is telling you that what you do in your personal life outside Patreon is still controlled by Patreon, just so that you're aware of it, those of you that are over there. Now, continuing on, as we do not process payments for this type of content, any outstanding funds will be refunded to your patrons. In the meantime, your page will remain suspended pending full removal. My team and I take the removal of pages very seriously, and we only commit to this action after a thorough review process. If you would like to appeal this removal, please send over anything you believe is relevant, and my team and I will review your response. If you have other questions or concerns, don't hesitate to email me. All the best, Blair. Okay, so I did respond right back to Blair when I got this message or noticed I got it. My response immediately to her, directly through the email she had given, what criminal organization are you saying I promote? I am not a member of any criminal organization of any type. I do not support criminal organizations and routinely tell people in my content not to do criminal activity. Now, I also sent a response to the Trust and Safety team directly through a email address they had on the site, linking the form letter. And the title to this was, what specifically is the violation? Now, I did post this letter also over on YouTube after I had sent it. What is the specific criminal organization that someone is claiming I belong to? I routinely say that people should not do illegal activity. I also am not a member of any criminal organization. That is, unless you consider the Veterans of Foreign Wars a criminal organization, because that is the only organization I am a member of. I do link to articles and other materials that I use for research for my videos and have never heard that was not allowed. But that is not the claim here. So what is the specific violation? What is the specific allegation? I routinely have to deal with attacks from neo-Nazis on one hand and radical militant communists on the other on all platforms. They are constantly trying to dox me and get me banned. My suspicion is this is just another one of those attacks. Now, just to clarify, they never, not once, told me what criminal organizations they believe I am a part of. or that someone said I am a part of. Now, I did get a response from Blair this morning at 6:32 a.m. Pacific. What, they like sending out their emails at 32s? You know, it was 7:32 yesterday, now 6:32 this morning. Hi there. Thanks for reaching back. While I understand this can be a frustrating experience, any removal is a result of a thorough evaluation by the team. After making such a review, we concluded that, as per our guidelines, your content propagated incitements to violence and support of violent organizations. So now we've gone from it's criminal organizations to violent organizations. Continuing on here, at this point, we will not be considering a reinstatement of your page. All the best, Blair. Now, I don't know if this Blair is a head of the team or if she's just one of the stupid trained monkeys that's supposed to tap out the stuff on the keyboard. I have no idea. But officially, with that email, the Patreon page is gone. If you click on the links and go check on it, it will say that it is still under review. It is not. They've now made the decision to remove it. So if you are one of my patrons, go through, check, see if I am still listed under your creators that you support. Cancel your patronage. Okay, I had to do this last night preemptively to the creators that I support. You'll see at the top of the page when you're logged in, it'll say like memberships. Click in that, and there should be something in there that says edit or cancel membership. Click on that, go through, click cancel. They will ask you the reason why you want to cancel your membership. There is a selection in there that says you do not support or do not like Patreon's services or content. Click that. And there's also a little note down at the bottom where that's optional. You can put things in there. So if you want to send them a little message, go ahead. I did that a few times. And I went through last night and I canceled my patronage to Lars at Survival Russia. I canceled to Delaware Patriot, which his stuff is something like a dude doing stuff, I think is his new name for his channel now. I canceled my patronage to Vermont Concerned Citizen, and that one sucked because I was his only patron. Vermont Concerned Citizen, if you're seeing this video, seriously, pull your money out of Patreon now. Okay, before they go through and cancel your page and confiscate that cash. I tried canceling my patronage to S2 Underground last night, but Patreon went through and blocked me from doing it. They wouldn't allow me to. So I did a message on there to S2 Underground. If you guys are watching, cancel my patronage, block me, whatever you have to do to stop them from taking the money from me at the end of the month here. Because they're not allowing me to cancel it myself for some reason. They're being pricks about this whole thing. I'm going to be canceling my patronage to Kaz at the Italian Hillbilly channel. He's the last one that I had. I've sent Kaz an email using the backside. I found his email address. I sent him a message so that we can still email links and that type of stuff for live streams and whatnot. I also contacted Ron Stryker that way. I got a confirmation from him last night. So, you know, we still got a way that I can attend live streams, be a part of them. You know, you guys just got to send it by email. Now, what happened with the Patreon channel. My suspicion on this, okay? A few days ago, I went through and I banned 4 more people from Patreon. One of them was a new patron who canceled his subscription before giving even a single donation. Patrons that did that, I would block. They got banned. Now, I also went through and I checked how much was given to me by each patron. And I found out in there that there were 3 patrons who had been supporting me on Patreon for greater than a year, one of them for 3 years, and had not given me a single penny. They had declined every single month's withdrawal. So I went through and I banned all 3 of them. Now, I posted right away on Patreon after I did it that my suspicions were that these were law enforcement that were monitoring the channel. There were a few other patrons that had given me just like $1, and that's all they gave me, and they've been patrons for multiple years. My suspicions are they are law enforcement also. But because they at least gave the 1 payment, I allowed them to stick around. My suspicion is that one of those 4 people that I banned within the last 7 days, I think it was this last weekend I went through and did that, I got a feeling one of them put in a complaint to Patreon saying that I am promoting terroristic criminal activity in organizations. And then Patreon, being the leftist platform it is, they then went through and decided to pull the channel. Now, for those of you that are not aware of this, Patreon is an uber leftist platform. They routinely would send me every other week another message talking about where the money they were collecting as fees from me, from my patrons, where they were sending that money. And they were sending it to groups, or I should say do send it to groups such as Black Lives Matter. They send it to LGBT all across the board groups. They send it to transgender groups that promote transgender affirming surgeries. They also send it to pro-abortion groups like Planned Parenthood. These are things specifically mentioned in the messages they send you, telling you where the money they get from you go to. They brag about it. I held my nose on it because Patreon had things that I liked and I thought were helpful to the channel. Not the least of which was the patronage, the money I got from people each month. It was an immense help, especially in the months when the only paycheck I got was the money from Patreon for that month. Like when I had broken my leg, the only money I had coming in was from Patreon until my work finally approved my disability payments while I was out healing up. And they did not approve those till, hey, you're healed up and ready to come back to work. So I had no pay for multiple months, and all I had was what little was coming from Patreon. I still, unfortunately, have to use money from, or had to use money from Patreon to help with bills. And then I would always draw from that for getting training aids for the channel. Also, any other money that's left over, that went towards supplies such as food and medical to have on hand for helping people out in an emergency. All that's gone now. Patreon should not be taking money from you at the end of the month here for my channel. If they do, they're required to give the money back. My suspicion is they're going to keep it. They will not send any of it to me. Now, a couple other features I liked about Patreon was, one, I could post links to articles and materials I used for doing the videos, for doing my research. I cannot find another platform that will allow for that. Currently, I am still looking. I also liked that I had the ability to do messaging in the backside so people could ask me questions, help them out. That was a regular thing. I had people that would ask me, recommendations for, they had the following situation that they could be potentially facing. Any ideas for gear, any ideas on tactics, and I would help them out the best I could. That's currently gone. Now, if any of you have ideas for another platform similar to Patreon, please post it in the comments here. First off, I'm going to tell you Subscribe Star is a no-go. I went through, checked out them. I went through their terms of service, their community guidelines, and it specifically says in there, and no ambiguous wording, militia-related stuff is considered illegal activity, and your channel will be banned and your content removed when you are found. So Subscribe Star is out. I am leaning towards Utreon, but I'm not all that crazy about it, what I've read so far. I'm still checking into it. If I go there, it says the minimum level for a supporter is $5 a month. Most of my supporters over at Patreon were $1 supports. So we'll figure this out on that one. Kaz said check out locals.com. I'm still checking into it. I do not have a warm and fuzzy about that one, but I will check into it more. So that's what I got with the Patreon situation. Why did I start Patreon in the first place? I primarily did it when I found out that we had the backside communication that YouTube used to have. Subscribers on YouTube used to be able to send me direct messages on the backside outside the comments on the videos, and I used to do the same thing there. We would communicate back and forth. I would help people out with situations. YouTube did away with that. Then I heard about Patreon because Kaz went over there. I became a patron of him. I checked into it more. I found out you had a backside messaging over there, so I figured I'm going to open a channel there so I have that ability. But that ability is gone now. If I cannot find a site that has all the features that Patreon did, like the backside messaging, allowing me to post links to articles and manuals and videos and that stuff that I use to reference for what I'm doing in videos, I might have to open an account over on a social media site like Telegram or Trump's Truth Social. I know Facebook and Twitter are no-goes. They will not allow it because of the type of material this channel deals with. In theory, those two platforms, Telegram or Truth Social, should allow it. I will check into it more. When I make my final decisions as to what I'm going to do, I will do a video announcing it to you guys, so that those of you that still want to support this channel would now know where the new platform is. You can come support the channel. If I do the social media thing, it'll be mentioned in there too. I'm going to start, while I'm uploading this video, to start removing the links to Patreon from every one of my videos, which is going to be a pain in the ass because there's over 500 of them. And that's just on... just on YouTube. All of that is copy and pasted over at BitChute, and I got to go through and do it over there also. Remove all the Patreon links there. So, yeah, I'm going to have a busy day today. I do have some videos planned for this week. Hopefully I'll be able to knock out one of them, maybe two of them tonight. We'll see what happens here because I'm going to be busy dealing with this. Plus, I've been helping out someone I know this week who, they broke a bone last weekend, and I've been helping them out, so I've been very, very busy dealing with that also. Oh, there we go. Now you guys are up to date as of the current moment with the stuff on Patreon and how it affects the channel. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.